Hello and good afternoon. I'm Sneha John, a doctoral candidate from the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. As part of the NPPA team, I'm delighted to welcome you all to this session on positive technology for psychological well-being. We have among us our esteemed speaker, Dr. Nidhi Maheshwari. Dr. Maheshwari is a scientist at the Defense Institute of Psychological Research, which is a part of Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, Ministry of Defense, Government of India, Delhi. She is a certified life coach and hypnotherapist with hands-on experience in neuro-linguistic programming. She specializes in the area of strategic behavior analysis, assessment and management of combat stress behavior, special forces profiling, combat motivation and morale, and rumor and propaganda management. Besides accomplishing several research projects and papers in various journals of repute, she has published 2 reference books on military psychology in Hindi and in English to popularize the subject. Recently, she was awarded and acknowledged at various forums for designing 3 different apps for operational stress management of the armed forces, which has now over 15K active users. Presently, she is working on futuristic systems for psychoeducation and wellness enhancement of the armed forces. We welcome you, ma'am, and we look forward to hear from you without much delay. Before I hand over the session to ma'am, I would like to request all the attendees to post their questions in the Q&A box. As per the availability of time, we would like to take a few questions in the end. Thank you, ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you, Sneha. And a very good afternoon to all the respected seniors, because my close seniors are also here in this group, and all the participants. A very warm good afternoon. Although it's pleasant here, but a warm good afternoon to all of you. And at the outset, I thank Kamlesh Singh ma'am for giving me this opportunity, and the President NPPA for making this available, this interaction possible. So to begin with, as Neha has already told, the topic of my presentation for today would be positive technology for psychological well-being. Is the slide visible?
Yes, it is.
So let us start with the primary introduction as to what positive technology means. So the approach for any science to grow, it is recommended that it should go interdisciplinary. And when we talk about positive psychology as an independent science, yes, it is. And ICT, information and communication, itself being an independent science. But in case both the sciences to grow and take hand in hand the knowledge and the acquaintances together, we need to mingle and amalgamate the entire experience to make it more facilitative for the optimal human functioning. And that is what is positive technology. So it is the scientific and applied approach for improving the human experience in order to achieve the optimal human functioning and flourishing. So if I may just ask you to visualize a scenario wherein a user has logged in to a virtual account for a relaxation session. He or she is asked to just focus on the screen. A virtual agent comes and greets her with some warm remarks, and then she is driven to a deep state of relaxation by asking to focus on in the center of the screen, wherein a mandala may be expanding and contracting gradually. While she is driven into this deep state, what we say as deep breathing, she's also given a notification regarding her postural state. And then automatically the seat moves to a zero gravity position wherein she gets more comfortable. automatically her eyes are gaining attention of a part of the screen wherein the water is flowing in and out, moving in and away. And in the background, she's listening to the sound of Om or any deep verse. Na punyam, na papam, na rogam, na shokam, aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupa, sada me samadhim na muktir na bandha, chidananda rupa shivoham, shivoham. And while she's drifting deep into a state of calm and relaxation, now she's getting a feedback also from the virtual agent that her bodily response is now into a state of deep relaxation. The streak on the screen gets completed, and she's congratulated for that, achieving that state. And the autonomic feedback that comes in is encouraging her as a reinforcement to sustain that particular state. At the same time, now she's getting another notification that she has to visualize certain scenarios and get into that particular scene. So a line is moving, and wherein the visualizations are becoming more clearer, she also sees that other people of her state belonging to her level are also enjoying this particular state. And she's experiencing this uniqueness with that group. So getting connected, getting at a deeper level, but at the same time, she's not all alone. She's having similar people around who are also utilizing that facility. So this is what is positive technology, what technology can do to enhance the information and the knowledge and achieve what positive psychology wants to achieve. That is optimal human functioning and flourishing. So this was a brief introduction just to visualize how technology can help and assist in achieving the goals of the positive psychology. But I would just like to also mention here and acknowledge the deep work that has been done in the area by the proponents of the positive technology. And I'm glad to share today, Professor Godiali is also here. So he has been a part of this particular work, which I'm presenting on this slide. And it was a great work. And we would say that it is a dynamic thing wherein they have tried to provide a metric to this kind of experience, how positive technology can be graded into 3 zones. And the features and the characteristics of personal experiences have been quantified across 3 levels. So according to this paper, the reference is also given here. So this work was done, and they have divided it into 3 levels. The levels of personal experience. One is the hedonic level, using technology to induce positive and pleasant experiences. That can be one part. Then second portion of the metric would be the eudaimonic level, using technology to support individuals in reaching, engaging, and self-actualizing experiences. That is the growing self. And third would be the social and interpersonal level, using technology to support social integration and connectedness. That is the shared self. So the example, the visualization that I have just shared in the earlier slide is focusing on all the 3 aspects together. And this is the scientific explanation for the same. And how to accomplish these stages have been given very well in the slide. The slides are there. Of course, you can refer to it later, but due to paucity of time, I'm just skipping the other details. So this was the research which was published. And now carrying it forward, if we say, can we understand and design certain products based on this positive technology? Yes, we can, because the knowledge that we have gained henceforth can be used. So we see applications and products based on only focusing on the hedonic level. We see products engaging at the eudaimonic level, and also we see products at the social and interpersonal level. So I'll give you some use case approaches, some products which are already available at the global level, and also in some specific cases like the armed forces, because we belong to that particular organization. So whatever little endeavors we have accomplished, I would like to share that also. So this was another work done by us, wherein we tried to see if we see positive technology can be graded into certain quadrants, the type of initiatives that are being taken at global level. So we tried to see the literature from 2019 to 23, wherein positive mood induction procedures, basically the hedonic level, the capability to induce positive mood amongst the participants was studied. And then we tried to see what kind of researches are prevalent. So we tried to then compartmentalize the entire literature that is available during that time into 4 quadrants. And the 2 axes were considered to be immersion and interactivity. So it was generally found, as you can see, that most of the research is focused on high interaction and high immersion, as well as on high immersion and low interaction. So we could see that most of the researches or most of the products that are being developed as interventions for positive mood induction are being in the area of, on the 2 axes, are being in the area of high immersion primarily, and then interactivity at high and low levels. And all of them are found to be of sufficient effect size, but then always there was a rider to it, a limitation that they will be in highly controlled environments only. So we have to now understand immersion definitely gives a sense of presence. It teleports you to a different world altogether. You get rid of all your worries and you instantly get into a state of deep relaxation or joy. And at the same time, what if you are able to manipulate whatever is being shown to you in a virtual world by your own hands, by the action, and you are able to manipulate and get into a deep state, which is a desirable state. But then this was with a word of caution that we have to see how we are using it, what kind of stimulus are being used, stimuli are being generated, and what kind of sensorial experiences they are generating. So that validation has to be done. Then next was we focused on specific target groups, the combat stress interventions, which are working in the area of positive technology. So we primarily could group or classify all the interventions during that period only into 4 categories. One is computer based, other was tele based, wherein the therapy is being provided in telecounseling format. Then third category was the web-based, wherein online expressive writing and thinking forward, CBT delivery, and various applications were developed for the armed forces personnel. And the fourth category were the VR-based, virtual reality-based. So the classification was something like this. Again, immersivity and interactivity both were considered for VR-based interventions and web-based interventions, and they have been found to be highly suitable and probably usable, because the biggest challenge with the armed forces is that whatever suggestions or solutions are being given, they should be in situ, because the soldier cannot come to a psychologist quite often, neither the psychologist can be available to the soldier all the time. So the solutions have to be in situ, and so these apps works the best with the soldiers. So there are some other applications which are universally present and which are quite popular. Some of them I have mentioned here, like the Headspace, which is a mindfulness app. And we have various guided audio sessions wherein, along with the other task or the activity, the individual can engage into a positive state and then can continue the shows that he or she is continuing. Then the other one is the gratitude apps or the gift apps, wherein positive psychology principles are being implemented, and there are notifications to unconsciously build external cues which will guide them into an effortless practice or unconsciously learning that they should be thankful about what they have in life. And then there are certain apps like Happify, wherein these are structured activities and certain guided notifications, which will make you habitual to thinking positive and avoiding the negative thoughts and behaviors. Then there is another very expressive project, a pilot project that was done by Benoit Satter, and it is the Earth of Wellbeing, wherein positive technology has been introduced and implemented at a wide level. And the 3 components or the modules included were Wellbeing through Nature, then Park of Wellbeing, and Book of Life. the narrative experiences. So herein also they found it was actually initially for the astronauts who were participating in the Mars mission, but then it was descaled to for common people. The technology has been descaled to that level. Of course, these are not the original pictures of the project, but the idea of implementing the principles of positive psychology and facilitating the human experience through technology has been very well implemented, and the induction of positive emotions was found to be quite engaging and significant. And then we have another example of the metaverse. Now, the social connectedness, wherein we say if a client wants to visit a therapist, or if we want to have some professional expertise or guidance, and we are unable to move to places, we have a place now. We have another universe with us, and which is a metaverse, and we can meet like-minded people. We can engage in various expertise. We can increase our social connections. So at all three levels, the hedonic, eudaimonic, and the social connectedness level, this is possible in this particular technology. So again, this is opening new vistas for us to function. And of course, not only clients, the therapists also can get registered onto that and can share their knowledge and help others who are in need. And then this is a small demo version of the actual app that we have developed for our armed forces, that is Indian Armed Forces. And herein also we tried to take the significant achievements that positive psychology has been accomplishing all the time in various across various variables, and we tried to fit in that model into the markers that we obtained based on the soldiers' data. And then we try to prescribe various measures through this application that we have developed. We developed different applications for different occasions. One was on combat stress, and other was in the area of COVID stress, especially during the time of COVID, which was used extensively by the units. So here also we had a similar idea, but then categorization was done on the basis of the modules that are available for the soldier based on his time and the duty that he's handling. So we have given him three options. Either he can read something good, or he can engage into some activity which he finds meaningful, or he can listen to something good at that time, which were guided audio sessions. Again, if you can see on the screen, this is in Hindi because the app was in Roman Hindi and Hindi exclusively developed for the Indian Armed Forces. So herein acceptance and commitment has been taken as the part one. Then we have come to like from the hedonic level to the eudaimonic level, and then to the social connectedness level. And it has proved to be quite useful. We have very encouraging feedback from the soldiers. And then this was one of the activity wherein we find that soldiers liked it the most. So we have prescribed that please conserve your energy and utilize that into something which is more meaningful, because there is no meter for human energy. And so we need to delay what is not possible and control what is possible. So this is one of the popular activities. Then we try to see the level of engagement, immersion, and the interactivity that on a self-report scale, various self-report measures were taken, and we tried to find in-lab experiments. On the basis of the in-lab experiments, we tried to identify the level, which are the activities which are providing the best desirable solutions. And we found the activities which were high on the perceived skill and task clarity, then engagement, low on fatigue and boredom, and self-reported affective states, which are definitely the positive ones, pre and post, and the learning outcomes. So we rated various activities at the same on all these criteria. And then we tried to finalize the applications that we have developed based on the positive technology. And now we are gearing to the next level, that is the a wider range, which will be an experiential system, which will be including all the activities at a wider level, at maybe in a multidimensional at a multidimensional level. And the next futuristic work, that's the human digital twins. Of course, that's the future. And I would say it's not the future, it is the near future, not very distant. The work has already begun. And now we are in the process of mimicking humans. So, how this technology is going to be used in terms of positive psychology, there are various questions to its existence and usage, but as we can read and foresee, definitely it's going to have a huge impact. It will be a disruptor, and one should start working as researchers in this particular area because it enables people to focus on the parts of work that humans are particularly well suited for, like relationship building, intuitive decision making, empathy, and problem solving. So it's not saying that robots will replace humans. It is saying that it will assist humans in decision making. So what if I have my own digital twin, and as I'm serving the armed forces, he or she also, the twin can also be present at some other place and then provide the same suggestions as I'm providing in person to someone else. So, as a therapist, ease of doing business, yes, it's going to be possible. At the same time, it can also predict the kind of negotiations I might make, the kind of decisions I may make, the kind of preferences that I may have, and the kind of behavioral tendencies that I may exhibit at various occasions. So, definitely, it's the future, and we will see more products developing on this ground. And this is going to give too much of scope to us for predicting and doing the future analytics well in advance so that we don't face enough psychological casualties as we are facing now. So building a personal digital twin right now, what is the progress? We have come to the biological and the physiological level. The digital twins are there for nutritional predictions, for estimating the prophylactic measures, for estimating and predicting the future diseases that the individual can have. Yes, that is there now. But then coming to the behavioral predictions, we are still nascent. So that's a very promising area that we can begin with. And my interest was just to showcase this particular update so that we have better youngsters engaged into this particular technology. And last of it, it's a tightrope, as each one of us know. It's a double-edged sword. If not taken properly, then it can hurt us as well, the perpetrators, as well as the individuals who are experiencing this. So it should be well simulated, the kind of sensations, the kind of suggestions, the kind of notifications, the kind of technological equipments that are being used for inducing these states, for achieving this particular desired state, should be very well thought of, very well planned, and should be very well tested as well and validated before actually getting into ground. Then only this technology, the positive technology, can be successful. Thank you so much. I have tried to time it for keeping a scope of the question and answers. So may I know in case any questions are there, you are most welcome. And welcome Professor Gaglioli also. He is also, I think, part of the group here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Nidhi. That was indeed an insightful session. We'll now move on to questions. We have one question from Jagjit Kaur. What are the markers to measure the effectiveness of positive interventions delivered through app so that the design can be improvised?
Yeah. So that's a very good question. And I have already mentioned in that particular slide also. So the level of engagement that is seen, and then the clarity also. Because while designing an app, you may introduce various tasks or activities. So you need to see whether the individual is able to understand also or not what is supposed to be done. Because generally क्या होता है, everyone knows that हमको खुश रहना है, everyone knows that हमें positive सोचना है, पर हमारे पास में भी जो प्रश्न आता था वो ये आता था कि कैसे कैसे करना है. So the methodology of achieving that so should be point wise, should be bulleted, and should be straight. Like, okay, when you close your eyes, you may visualize a couple of scenes. you may experience a lot many sensations. So everything is to be documented and should be presented very well. So the level of immersion and engagement along with clarity is very much required. And when you do the efficacy testing of the app, so another thing should be kept in mind is the user experience. The navigability of the app. Is he able to reach or locate that particular activity which he likes the most? So that was something which we learned during the process of our development, the navigability, and then the probability that he's going to use that time and again, because we design an offline app. So for online apps, it is very easy. You can easily locate and see the kind of popularity and then the following of that particular activity, a repeat usage of that particular activity. But for offline apps, it would be a difficult preposition. So this pilot work has to be done well in advance before you actually launch the product.
Right,
I hope.
thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, we have another question from Bhavika. Sensorial immersion also includes cognitive immersion and emotive affective immersion. So do these apps consider these aspects as well?
Yeah, very much. So it depends upon the kind of sensors that you have incorporated in your app. Like the calibration of those sensors should be there with the application that you have designed. So if your seat doesn't have that particular sensor, you will not be able to record it. So like cognitive, we did one study on gamers. So combat gamers, we had cameras in our lab, and the cognitive and emotional engagement was also being recorded. How? When we asked them, did you notice your jaw dropping? Did you notice that your eyes were into the screen? So that self-report. So the cognitive engagement was also there. Did you notice that there was a loud noise outside while you were playing? So that was the cognitive engagement. At the same time, the emotional, we asked the pre and the post. So that is done in almost all the researches out here. So RCT, jitni bhi studies hoti hai. So pre and post trials are done. So emotional experiences, yes, of course, but you need to have those sensors and the recorders to record that particular activity, because self-report may not always be comprehensive. Because the higher the level of engagement and the immersion, the individual may miss on many of the things which he may not be able to report even. So there has to be something which is observable and certain other things which are reportable.
Yes, right. We have one more question from Asta Tripathi. How can we design an effective positive psychological intervention for specific disorders such as clinical depression?
Okay. So again, you have to first be very well versed with what clinical depression means. Know your audience, like we say na KYC, know your customer. So I would say KYA, know your audience, है ना? Target audience आपको पता होना चाहिए, because उसकी capability of the audience is must. For example, I give you a very simple the demo of the application that we have developed for soldiers. I have showcased one screen of the same. So if you have noticed, that was in Roman Hindi. Why? Why in Roman Hindi? Because the capability of my soldier who belongs to southern part of India or northeastern part of India is unable to read Hindi. Although he understands, if I speak something in Hindi, he will be able to understand, because common instructional language of the armed forces is Hindi. But he is unable to read it. So what we did, it is the texting message. Like we say Roman Hindi, it's the texting message that we do. Na, aap kya kar rahe ho? So we say aap, KYA, RAHE, ho. So they will understand by reading it. Okay, so similarly, you should know your audience before getting into such product development, because you should know their capability and their interest. Like, are they going to understand audios? Are they going to understand videos? Or are they going to understand some interaction between the two? So then you can home down to what kind of activities will be best suited for them. And maybe in future, of course, Kamlesh ma'am is there. She's very an avid researcher, and she's always welcoming good ideas, new ideas. So we can work on this further in case you are highly interested in working in the same area. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to add on to the fact that the introduction of various health apps like these, the digital technology, uh, what are your views on the amount of regulation now it would need uh, to kind of see? Because as we open the Play Store, we'll see a lot of such apps. But with the coming time, I guess the regulation would also need to be increased.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Dr. Sneha. And we have to understand because regulation parametrics again, what shall be the parameters of saying that the app is okay? So it has to undergo certain kind of trials before getting launched. And for your knowledge, I would like to tell it was my personal experience also. So we were very excited because it was a challenging situation for each one of us. Rather, we were very committed to developing certain application which can be used by the common public also, because already we have developed an app, so we had some level of confidence. But then when we tried to post it on Play Store during COVID, I'm talking about that time, and it was denied. So we found it to be a setback for us. But the second thought, the afterthought for that was like, people, of course, they Google doesn't know who we are, but then Google also doesn't know who others are who may be posting some content which they find to be relevant but may not be suitable or may not be authentic. So first level of screening was done already, and it was as a policy decision that no apps related to mental health will be posted on Play Store during this time. So as a policy, this is the first hand experience that I had. Although we had a dedicated population and we had our own system, internal system of screening and assessment. So we have undergone that, and then we published our for the armed forces during that time. But of course, this was done. And I really support that kind and recommend strongly that that kind of regulation must be there, because it is a tightrope.
Right. Well, that was really insightful. I definitely learned a lot. Thank you, ma'am. We would like to conclude here today because we are short of time now. Before we conclude the session, I would quickly like to extend a heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the NPPA and each of us present here to Dr. Nidhi. Thank you for taking out the time to speak with us today. That's it for this session. We all can continue with the coming sessions now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.